Hello, and welcome to episode number 9 of the Unit 42 Beyond the Hunt series. My name is Ryan with Unit 42 Managed Threat Hunting, and I'm going to be covering some of the active campaigns we looked at in June of 2024. If, for whatever reason, you're not yet familiar with the series, please head on back that way to episode number 1, where we lay the groundwork for what it is that we're doing here. Essentially, we send out a monthly report to our clients of the things we were looking at in the previous month, and that's what I'm going to be covering right now. We're going to be looking at, in this episode, threat hunting with Mark of the Web and malware delivered via AnyDesk. So let's get into it. Mark of the Web is a metadata resource that Microsoft provides. It's stored in the alternative data stream, or ADS stream, and an NTFS formatted disk, and Cortex XDR is able to stitch that data together as of agent version 8.2. We recommend 8.4 and above, remain current, and constantly be updating your stuff, of course. But the metadata included here will show you, and I'll zoom in, where a file was downloaded from. So we can see here, for example, that we have a zone ID of 3 indicating that a file came from the internet, and we can see exactly where the file came from. So this is very important because when you have a process executing within your environment and you want to know where that executable come from, you can identify exactly from where it came, and that's super handy. So we provided a number of hunts for our users in this report. And I will show you that we had a hunt for URIs containing IPv4 addresses, so no domain names, but direct IP addresses. We had one for URIs with suspicious top-level domains like .xyz and things of that nature. Users probably shouldn't be downloading a ton of files from there. We had one for long subdomains and then paths leading to PE files, in other words, executable files. And we had one for double extensions, so like a .pdf.exe type of thing going on. The next thing that we want to talk about are the recommendations. And the recommendations for this are pretty simple. Make sure that your Cortex XDR agent is up to date. If you have an alternative EDR, you're not using Palo Alto, that's perfectly fine. The same recommendation applies, maybe not the version number, but just make sure that it's up to date. It's very, very important. And educate your users on the risks of downloading things from nefarious sites. And be very careful, because one of the things that we're seeing a lot are ad-based downloads. And what I mean by that is when you go into search engine and you type in and at the top it says sponsored. Avoid those links. Scroll down further to the links that don't say sponsored, because threat actors are using things like Google AdWords and things of that nature in order to inject their stuff above the actual legitimate results within search engines. And that can be a bad time, right? So next up, we have malware delivered via AnyDesk. If you use AnyDesk, perfectly fine. Awesome platform, great utility. It is a remote monitoring and maintenance tool. You might use AnyDesk or Screen Connect or Splashtop or a Terra or a dozen of other ones, right? Whatever you're doing, though, be very careful that you're restricting the use of that tool and not allowing others within your environment. In a particular campaign, some threat actors were delivering things like LumaStealer, SystemBC, and Ghost Socks, which are basically remote access Trojans / proxy tools to allow remote access into machines. And they were doing it via batch scripts. So here's a screenshot of AnyDesk executing, and this is just Cortex showing, hey, look, AnyDesk is executing AnyDesk, and so on and so forth. And what these threat actors were doing is they were executing these batch scripts that allowed the other tools to run and then remain persistent within the environment. So we provided queries to our clients in our report for things like AnyDesk within the environment, looking to see what's executing, what's AnyDesk, and what versions of AnyDesk is executing within the environment. We also had bat files that were written to disk And then within the next 5 minutes, we're executed. And that's one of the really cool features of Cortex XDR, being able to use joins and unions within our XQL, which is the XDR query language, to identify that something has been downloaded and then executed later. We also looked at things that were associated with digital signatures that we know were related to this particular campaign. Okay, so that's the end of this particular episode. If you'd like to learn more about Unit 42, specifically Managed Detection Response, MDR, or MTH, our Managed Threat Hunting team, which is where I work, then check out the link in the description. Ensure that you don't miss any future episodes by just like all the YouTubers say, like and to subscribe, right? Make sure you do that. And at this point, we're going to end the video. If you'd like to learn more about us, make sure you check those links, and I will see you next time.